So it is, what is today? September 16th, and there is a current challenge going on being hosted by Serena and I believe Ashley Main, where it's Shirtwaist September. So I would like to participate. The idea is to create a shirtwaist dress that you like and then wear it. Obviously, with it being inspired by Serena, I wanted to go ahead and look at my vintage sewing pattern stash and see what I have there. Here's the fabric that I've decided to work with for this dress. This is a sheet. I believe it might be twin size, maybe queen. And then it does have like the contrast here at the top and a little bit of faux piping look. I just thought this pattern was really vibrant and I just love this print and the color combination. I feel like it's an intro into fall, which is really nice, but also could be worn. It's a bit seasonless actually, except for the fact that it's really thin. So I will need to line it and or make a slip or something to go under it and or buy one. And then for patterns, I have 3 options. So I have McCall's 3076. This is really pretty. As you can see, what I really like about this pattern is the contrast here with the Peter Pan collar and this little, I don't even know if that will be considered a cuff because it's not really a sleeve. I'm not sure, but I like that detail a lot. And then I have Simplicity 3860. What I love about this one is this really fun detail in the back. As you can see, there's just a small button there. There are also buttons on the sleeves. It just has some fun contrast. I love the idea of pairing it with a contrast belt. I think it all could look really cool. And then I have Simplicity 4519. This is the most simple of the designs, I think. I mean, I like that it has the buttons all the way down. I think that's nice. I like the, fabric belt that they created here. The collar is pretty interesting because it doesn't look like it has a stand. And I don't know if I've done one like that before. And I don't know if this space is intentional. You see that? Between these gatherings, like if that's actually how the design is or if that's just how they illustrated it. But all in all, I think this is a pretty safe bet and really simple. I already picked out some buttons that I like from Hobby Lobby. They are like faux wood. They are machine washable and dry cleanable, which is very important to me. Primarily machine washable. I just thought they really picked up the color of the leaves here and just added another extra pop and accent, which will look good on any of these designs. I am leaning toward Simplicity 4519 simply because it is in a size 16 and a bust 36 and my bust is a 38. So I feel like I wouldn't have to make as much of adjustments on the pattern for this. Now these patterns all came from my vintage pattern haul, which I posted about a little bit earlier this year, which is really cool. I got all these off Facebook Marketplace from a really nice man. With that being said, they are all used and I have not actually checked their condition. So while I'm leaning toward this one, I do need to pop it open and see if I have all the pieces, and if not, if I'm willing to draft it. And if not, I might be going with one of the other 2 options. So let's pop this open and see what we got. This must be E. Yay! It is. The pattern is complete, guys. It's complete. Yay. Okay. So, okay. Now I'm going to very, very, very carefully press these out. Like, gently press these out. And I'll need to make, this might be reckless, but I think I'm just gonna place the pattern on my fabric and then draw some extensions. I feel like I've seen Haley Marie Vintage do this, just kind of cut out the extra that she needs for her pieces. I really don't want to retrace this pattern and do that whole process. Okay, first press. So I am putting my iron at the lowest setting and I'm cutting off the steam. I'm going to start with this small piece here once my iron loads up and see like if it presses out well. Like the paper feels delicate, but it doesn't feel like it'll spontaneously combust if I breathe too hard, so that's good. Okay, it says it's ready. I'm just gonna test it over here. No steam, no weirdness. Okay. I don't know, do it from the back side, you think? I might be making this a bigger deal than it really is, but it just made me nervous. Like, this thing's so vintage, truly vintage. Yay! It went well. Okay, so I'm gonna do that for all the pieces and we'll go from there. Okay, so I did get that all pressed and nice looking, and I placed it over there safely on my little sofa. But in doing so, I did get a little concerned about how much fabric I have. So it's not something I'm typically concerned about because I buy so much fabric. But with this being really it, I just want to quickly check and see and confirm that I actually have enough fabric to finish this project in this. Otherwise, I'll have to look for another option. So yeah, I feel like I do. Oh, it's pretty, yeah, I think I do. I think I do, guys. Oh yeah, I do. So we got 1, 2, 2 yards and 18 inches. But it's pretty wide compared to what they had back then. It's, I mean, at least 60 inches, probably more than that actually. So it's 80 inches wide. Yeah. That should be fine, right? I think. Maybe I should do the short sleeve version just in case. Maybe. Okay. I'm just going to seam rip all of the seams, like all of this stuff off really quickly. And then I'll have just the fabric. Ooh-wee. So my brain is telling me, Jessica, you should make a mock-up. You've never sewn a pattern that's this old. It's the wrong size. You should just make a mock-up. But my heart, my heart says just cut the fabric. It does. I don't want to do that. I'll think about it while I'm seam ripping. I probably should, right? I should. It always goes better when you make a mock-up. I'm still gonna think about it. Oh, let's grab my seam ripper. in pieces. So here's that little like faux bias binding thing, the top portion. But look at this tag. You can tell, wait, there you go. You could really tell that this is a very loved sheet, washed many times. There is nothing left on this. It is frayed, it is done. Whatever information it had to tell me, I will just not know. So, bye-bye to that. And then I'm just going to press these, and still debating on that mock-up, guys. I'm not sure if I want to do it. I should do it. I'm watching Jen Sews Vintage, and she just did this whole beautiful mock-up process with her dress, and I'm just like, I should probably do that. I should probably do that. I don't want to. Alright. Let's press and continue thinking. So I did decide to sew a mock-up. And here's what I have. Hopefully it's not too blown out with the white and the light. Looks pretty good. I did add an inch and then grade it out to 2 inches in the waist. I actually think that I can do this an inch all the way down because I do have some room here with some wearing ease. I was concerned about the neckline because it comes up really high, but if you look at the actual line drawing, there we go, hers comes up really high too, like in all of the views. So I think that's just part of the design. So I will leave it because once you have the 5/8 of an inch with the collar, it'll sit a little bit lower because this is still with the seam allowance. Other thing is I probably need to shift my darts over just a little bit in the front. I didn't really change the dart placement at all. I only added to the side seam, so that would be good. The back, I actually think the dart placement in the back is okay. And yeah, I think these are okay too. Maybe a little high. Let me see. Because when you have the skirt, I'm just going to pull it down a little bit. No, yeah, those are fine. So it's really just the center front darts here that I need to adjust. And then do just an inch all the way down. I'm not sure about my armhole. No, I think that'll be fine. There's enough room across the back. Yeah. So honestly, pretty easy. I'm glad I sewed this up just to do those little tiny adjustments, but I'm feeling pretty excited. I think it's cute. Yeah. All right, let me get to that so I can actually get into some final fabric and get even more excited. Okay, so I am a little bit frustrated with myself right now because I'm realizing that this back piece was supposed to be cut on the fold. And now that I've cut out all the other pieces, I do not have enough fabric to cut that on the fold. Oh my gosh, so annoying. Here's the other skirt piece. I mean, I literally had enough fabric. Like, there's even some extra. I just can't cut it on the fold, and that's super frustrating. So I'm gonna have to piece this one together. I mean, with the print this busy, I doubt it'll be super noticeable, but it is just frustrating because I just didn't pay attention to that. And so I didn't do it properly. Anyway, let me finish getting these cut out, and then I might just be done. Or maybe I'll be done right now. I'm a little annoyed, but that's sewing for you, right? So I have my bodice pieces pinned as far as all the darts go. I did decide to line this dress instead of trying to make a slip or wear a slip under it. I just think that a lining would be better, and so I have this blue poplin fabric that I actually had in my stash, a big roll of it. I usually use it for mock-ups, but I thought it was a pretty contrast, and then I did test it and it doesn't bleed, so that's good. And I think it's gonna be really pretty, so I just have to sew up like a million darts and then move on. But yeah, I have this all interfaced the way they asked me to, which is a little different. I'm not used to just putting like a strip of interfacing down the front, but I'm trying to stick to the instructions as closely as possible. Obviously, the original dress isn't lined, so there's going to be some deviation, but I'm pretty excited about it. I think it looks good. Yeah. So let's get this sewn up, and then I'll be back to go on to the next steps.
Hours making a free pie. Pros and cons and different things. Getting a free pie.
Okay, so I have all of my pieces serged and pressed, and now I'm just going to start constructing it. I'm going to have to deviate a little bit from the original instructions simply because I'm lining it and it wasn't originally intended to have a lining. So I'm going to play around with how I want to construct this and get it finished. But yeah, I did decide to go with serging instead of like pinking or anything, just because I like a serged edge. I feel like it's very secure and won't unravel while I'm constructing it or as it goes through the wash or anything like that. Okay, taking a moment to acknowledge, in no way is this a tutorial, but just how I'm figuring this out. So I went ahead and pinned together the shoulder seams of both the lining and the main fabric, okay? Now the thing that makes this kind of interesting is that the facing is built into the main fabric, right? So I had to kind of think about how this is supposed to go. And then you have the back. So I'm thinking I attach the facing pieces together, okay? Sew up the shoulders, and then top stitch the facing onto the lining piece all the way down. And then on the front and the back, yes. And then pretty much take the whole thing and flip it and sew it so we get the neckline. That is what I'm thinking. That is what I'm going to try. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else. So I have Annalise modeling here for me. Right now, that sleeve is just pinned in. figure out exactly where I want to go with this design, I usually just kind of pause and look at it and see if I'll actually like it, which I'm really loving it right now. I did initially, let's go over here, want to cut my cuffs and the collar out of the band that was on top of the sheet, but it has this like kind of permanent crease in it, which means that it's not really working for that. So I think I might switch up and do view 1 instead of 2. I think that's what they do, like 1 or 2. Yeah, so I'm thinking I might do, oh no, view 2 instead of 1, because it doesn't have the collar or the cuffs, and then maybe do something fun with the belt with that leftover material. I really did like view 1, but I can always make that out of something else another time and just make view 2 because of my fabric restrictions. I did go over to like Hobby Lobby and Joann to see if I liked any fabric with it, and I just really didn't want to spend money on this project, so I didn't buy it. Easy peasy story. But yeah, so if I'm doing that, what I need to do next is, well, recut the sleeve or edit the sleeve that I cut, and then I think I'm going to install it flat instead of like actually easing in the sleeve like you're supposed to, because that just sounds easier to me. And with sewing, sometimes it's just about doing it the way that works for you. And right now, that's what's working for me. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll be back to check in. Okay, we are back here with Annalise, and I just put one of these sleeves in, and oh, ignore my creaky floor, but I put it in just like without sewing up the side seam. But like, what is this puff sleeve? That is not what I was going for. Like, okay. And I was just sitting here really confused and frustrated because I'm like, what did I just do? Why does it look like that? Why does it look so weird? And so I went ahead and pulled, let's travel. Okay. So then I pulled my Singer Tailoring Techniques book to see what I was doing wrong. And went ahead to tailoring sleeves. And I am very visual, so I just looked at this photo and realized, like, do you see how far the gathering threads go? I stopped mine at these notches. So I was just trying to gather way too much into too small of a space. Because then you see, they like gather it all up and then pin it all in and do whatever they're doing in this photo. And I don't really know because, again, I'm not paying that much attention. And then I also just went and looked at the instructions and same thing. Do you see how far down the gathering goes? It pretty much goes to the notches. So I need to go ahead and rip out all my gathering threads and then redo it and then reattach it. But also looking at this, looks like we're going to have to fold up quite a bit here to make our little cuff situation. And because I'm lining my sleeve, I'm probably just going to attach the lining here and then do the cuff situation, most likely. But yeah, that was frustrating. And I kind of feel silly. Okay, so I seam ripped all of the gathering out, and then after looking at the instructions, I said I wanted to see if I could just attach the lining. So I made a bold move and just chopped the sleeve. And what I'm planning to do is to attach them like this. Then it'll line up. Obviously that'll be sewn into the actual bodice. Then you have this overlay here, or overhang, I don't know what to call it. And then if you go to the right side, boom, that gets flipped up and it makes the little cuff detail, which I think is pretty cute. I'm pretty sure that's going to work. I would have to just lightly ease this blue piece in, ease the lining in, because the body fabric is a little bit shorter after doing all that chopping and maneuvering. And then adding and pretty much all the things that I've done. So that isn't too bad though. I think that would look really cute. So that's going to be my plan. I'm going to reserge these edges for the sleeves, add the gathering stitches back in, and then get them installed. So I have my two funky pieces here. So this is obviously bodice, and then I sewed my sleeve in but left the side seam opening, and then left the sleeve too. So I just sewed the sleeve in flat. I think it looks much better. Don't have all that weird gathering issues. And then the facings are attached to each other here. Okay. And then I have the same thing with my lining, but the sleeve is much shorter because, as I showed you, I'm going to like zhuzh it in there. This one isn't as smooth as far as the sleeve goes, but it's the lining. I'm not going to redo it. And I think maybe when it's on my body, it'll look more smooth with like my shoulders. I don't know. Point is, I'm not going to redo it, and I'm just going to attach these two to each other. Here is what I have so far. So the entire bodice is put together and lined beautifully, I must say. I love the color. Like, that's so fun. I mean, it's really just going to be for me. Okay, and now I really just have to attach the sleeves in that way that I was talking about earlier. So it creates the cuff here, because we are now doing view 2 instead of view 1. And it has a cuff. But the crispness of this, the like transitional feeling I'm getting from it, with it being fall but still being warm and wet and all of that. Yeah, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then I'll tackle the skirt and keep going. I don't know, this is so pretty. Like, look how pretty that is. And so for the facing, I just top stitched it down all the way around. And that's not usually how I would attach a facing, obviously. I would attach it to the lining and then, you know, attach the full piece to the outer shell. But because this facing part was already connected here, and I was trying to line this to take care of the shear issue, I just top stitched it down. And then all this excess will be caught in the buttons and the buttonholes. Yeah, I think it looks really, really nice. Cool. Next step.
I feel like I should have measured where I want my hinges to go before I took the doors down. Oh. I really should have done that, shouldn't I? So I'm sure there's a more like elegant way or professional way to do this, but I figure it can't be that hard and it can't be that crazy, right? So all I'm gonna do is take my door hinge and a pencil and measure. And I'm just gonna do this one door and I'll match it exactly on the measurements of the other door, so I only have to like do this part twice. Where it sits is pretty good. And I'm just gonna like set it here, I think. And then mark the wall, just in case. We'll see which becomes more useful, but just marking both, just in case. All right, part 1 is done. Let's get set up outside. I saw the outside, I'm gonna start installing the hinges. Now, do I know how these work? 100% no, but I do know that they open the door. And my best understanding is this part of the hinge with the pin in it is what needs to go on the outside. So this side is gonna be flush, and then, oh no, it's gonna be like this. And the door will open on this hinge from this point. So I have to like have the pin on the outside like this. Yeah? That's how I think it's gonna work. I hope it's gonna work that way because that's the way I'm doing it. There's a frame in here, so I'm going like right into a stud, so I think I should be fine. I'm gonna go grab my level real quick. I can't find my level in all my boxes, so I'm just gonna use the level tool on my iPhone. Work smarter, not harder, you know? A girl's gotta do what a girl has got to do. I have the first hinge hung, and it's level and nice and ready. So I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna like measure out a distance at the bottom, and that seems reasonable, and match that on the other side. I'm just worried about them being even, less about them being like at a certain height, because I think it's fine. Like what could possibly be wrong? Okay, so the door is dry, and I have it inside. This seems like self-explanatory. Like I'm just gonna put it on the hinges here and hold it up.
Okay, so I went ahead and sewed the sleeve on this weird like elephant trunk situation. So obviously this is the lining, this is the body fabric, and I sewed all the way around. Now as you can see, I did add, well, if you could see, there we go. I did add gathering stitches to the lining because when I initially kind of placed them up to each other, it seemed like I would have to gather it in, but I did not have to do that. I was able to just ease it in. So I'll be removing those. Well, I'll remove them anyway, but I just didn't even use them. Just pretty cool. But I want to show you what it looks like when I turn it right side out. Okay. So here's how it would normally hang. Alright, as you can see, sleeve is in there. So what I'm going to do is put my hand through this. And this, there we go. This is where I sewed the two pieces together. And because the lining is cut shorter, once I turn it right side out, it pulls the outer fabric in. So this is what the inside looks like. And just get rid of these threads because they bother my soul. Even though I still need to snip more threads. And then from the right side, pull it out. Booyah. There we have it. Okay, and then what's going to happen once I get this pressed up and everything is that this will fold under however much I decide to become the cuff. Pretty cool, huh? And it is fully lined. And then once I do that, really it's just working on the skirt, which I will still be able to attach to the lining and to the main fabric and get those buttons on there. I really like it. I think I'm going to wear it. I should. I really have no clothes now that I've cleaned out my closet. I'm gonna be real with you. It's like workout clothes. That's it. But that was the point, if you hadn't seen that video, of cleaning out my closet, was to make some room for some stuff that I would really like to wear. And to encourage me to wear the things that I make. Alright. My favorite part, pressing. Though I did literally just drop my iron like full-fledged onto the ground. So I hope she's okay. I've had her for a very long time, like 7 years. And yeah, I've never dropped her until now. So hopefully she's okay and we'll be able to get this done. If not, I'll be shopping for a new iron. Oops. Trying to do way too much at one time. Okay, so now that I have the cuff in my sleeve, I decided to just try her on. It looks really good. Fits very nice, like kind of like that perfect fit, which I really like. Just getting used to this neckline is like gonna be interesting. I don't usually wear things that are so high up, but it's not uncomfortable. Oh, my hair's caught. There we go. It's not uncomfortable, it's just different than what I'm used to. But it hits like right at my waist, which is pretty perfect once you take away that seam allowance. So a skirt's gonna fit really nice. You know, I'm pretty comfortable. Yeah, I think it's cute. I like it. Okay, I'm happy. I'm happy, I'm good. Okay. It's nothing like getting into a project and doing that like fitting, that progress fitting, and be like, oh my goodness, I hate this. I don't hate this, I love this. So that's perfect. There you go. There we go. And I'm going to put her aside and start working on the skirt. Okay, so now that I have the interfacing all ironed on, all I need to do is press under. I think the instructions call for 1/4 of an inch, but I think I only did about an eighth of an inch on the bodice. So that's all I'm going to do here as well, just for continuity. And this I really just eyeball. I'm sure I'm not the only sewist who's doing this for a while and just kind of know how much it needs to be. And lastly, I'm just going to give it one more press right on the fold line. And I'm going to need to remark the top. So I put this little T where the top is. I'm going to need to put one where it's visible, because with this print you really can't tell. There we go. Do a little T. And next it just calls for me to attach the side seams, hem it, and then put all the pleats in. And then here's my piece together back piece, because I didn't cut it on the fold on accident. Very, very annoying, but I like that my print is so busy that you can't really tell, but I can tell. Where are my pins? There they are. Okay. And I'm going to be serging this as well, just like the bodice, just lining up my notches. So that's one. And again, I'm just making sure I'm keeping in mind which one is the top on both pieces. Just like this. Now I'm looking at this, I wonder if I should serge before I sew. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because I'm pretty sure I'm just going to serge this all together once I sew the seam. Just reduce some of the bulk. Now my lining is going to be cut in one continuous piece and be gathered instead of pleated. At least that's my plan. So I'm not too worried about the bulk on that. But with these, that's what I'm going to do. So I've laid out my front skirt pattern piece over the actual skirt. And as you can see, I added an inch, I think, to each side. 1.5 inches, don't really remember. And my plan is to distribute that in between the spaces of the pleats. If you can see, like there's a space here. Then it's like pleat, 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 space. Pleat, 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 space, pleat, 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 space, and so forth. So I'm thinking if I just kind of shift those spaces only like 1/4 inch, at least the 4 coming from this side seam, and leave the same amount, I guess, in the front, then it'll make up for what I added, and I won't really have to do a bunch of like crazy math. The skirt is hemmed. As you can see, I decided to just top stitch the hem because I did not feel like slip stitching, to be honest, and I think this print is busy enough that it doesn't look too weird. But that's what I'm about to do. Just mark those, get that pleated up, and do the same for the back piece as well. Okay, listen. I'm going to be 100% honest with you right now. It is like 3:30 on Monday, the 23rd of September, and I'm trying to submit this dress for Shirtwaist September, and this like soft pleating thing that they're having me do, my brain is not doing it. My brain is not doing it. I cannot figure this out. Like, and I'm so tired, and I just want to recharge, and I just want it to be done. Like, I've been looking at this and futzing with this for a long time, and then I googled it, like soft pleats. I'm looking at the picture. Let me show you the picture. Okay. So, I mean, it's supposed to look something like that. Like, that doesn't look that complicated. Now, I don't have, there we go. I don't have a ton of experience with pleats. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. And this is a vintage pattern. But what I created is just like, it does not look like that. Like, it looks like this. It's wrong. And I can't figure out what I'm missing. I feel like I'm following the instructions and it just does not look like that. So, I'm just going to gather this. I'm going to gather this and I'm going to call it a day because I can't spend more time on it. I have to get it done because if I don't get it done now, I have a really busy week. I still have to photograph it. I still have to get the video edited. Like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. And I know I'll love it if it's gathered. I plan on gathering the lining anyway. So, drop the pen. Got it. So, that is what we are going to do. But I do need to take just a little break, I think. And go grab some groceries because I haven't meal prepped for the week. And take a breather. Maybe walk around a thrift store, make myself feel better. And come back to this. I know how to gather. But the soft pleat thing, I'm actively removing my pins from whatever this was. Yeah. I thought I had a plan. And that plan just was not working. And that's okay. Nobody knows that it needed to have pleats in it except for you. So if you don't tell anyone, I won't say anything. It'll still look fabulous, okay? Okay. Alright, let's do it. Okay, so it is quite a few days later, like 5. It is September 28th. And I'm not finished. Now, I have worked on it in little tiny spurts throughout the week, but I was pretty discouraged from that whole soft pleating situation. And I kind of avoided the project. But now we're back. We're ready to get started again. And I'll like show you what I have so far. Okay, so this is what I have so far. Obviously, this is the lining. I did go ahead and hem that. I hemmed it a little bit shorter than the outer fabric because of the drastic color difference between the two. And then what I have pinned here is the placket for the buttons on one side, and then I'll have to do the same on this side. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and sew these together right along there, and it'll just be like a big tube. So I'm going to do that on both sides. I already have my gathering stitches in both the outer fabric and the lining, so it's ready to be gathered up once I get this part stitched. So I really don't have that much more to do. I just, during the week, I was really frustrated and just did not come in here to work on this that much. But I'll get it done. I mean, it might be posted on September 30th for Shirtwaist September, but that's still September, okay? So I still have to photograph it and edit this video and all that jazz this weekend. Anyway, I should stop talking and actually get to work. Okay, so here she is. So I have the main fabric gathered and the lining gathered, and it's all just in a big tube. But I'm going to check this to make sure it actually is going to work. As you can see from the outside, it's all prettily gathered. And this is going to be the front, so I'm just making sure that this is smooth and there's no gathers where the buttonholes are going to need to be, which there are not. Check this side. Yeah, beautiful. Let's get this sewn up. Okay, I'm happy again. I was not happy before, but I'm happy. Okay, yes. Get her done. Okay, oh, my floor is so creaky. It is Sunday, September 29th. I've officially turned my dry erase board over to October, and I still haven't finished this dress. So I have till tomorrow. If not, I'll just still post it. Who cares? Okay, and if you are wondering, is it really early on Sunday, September 29th? The answer is no. It is 4:18 p.m. I have some other stuff to do. I left off here. She is. Okay. So I went ahead. She looks a little crazy, but I sewed all the way around for the skirt. Gathered her up. And then this is what she looks like. Fully lined. Skirt attached. Everything looks great. So I'm going to just try her on really quickly and see what we're working with. And then I pretty much only have to add the buttons. I'm going to debate during the try on whether or not I want to add the covered belt as well. Initially that was my plan, but I also initially was going to do the long sleeves, and I was initially going to have this out a few weeks ago. So we'll see. So I'm just going to pop her on real quick. Okay, I don't know if you can see. Here she is. Cute. I obviously only put 2 pins in, hence the whoop, little pop. Oh my gosh, the blue's so pretty. Okay. Yeah. So here she is. I like a lot. This print is so busy. It's so busy. But also, like, that's kind of what attracts me to things. I don't think the gathering looks weird. Step a little closer for you. But yeah, I don't think the gathering looks weird. I think it looks nice. I think the length's okay. Pretty sure on the pattern it's a little bit more like just past the knee. Mine is like more mid-calf, but I like that. Yeah, she's cute. Yeah, I'm also leaning toward no belt because this is really busy. And I don't know, I like the simplicity is not the right word, but simplicity of the current design. And then when you add in the buttons, these guys, you know, I don't know. Oh, I can tell you this, she is warm. Woo! Hot. I guess that's good. It gets cold here in Wisconsin, so yeah. It's also, how hot is it outside right now? It's warm outside. It's 73 degrees. Which, I mean, for some of you, you're probably thinking that's not very warm, but for Wisconsin, that's pretty warm. In September, you know. Almost October. Like, come on now. Okay. I don't want to finish. I don't want to do it. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. So I just stitched up a couple samples on some scrap. I got these 2 samples, and pretty much one is rounded all the way on both ends, and then one is only rounded on one end. I like the one that's rounded on both ends, so that's what I'm going to go with. Uh-oh, there we go. So that's what I'm going to go with. My machine didn't have any trouble with this fabric, so that's good. And hopefully I can get these as pretty and straight as possible. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, but I definitely like the one that's more rounded. Okay, let's do it. No way. Oh, no! Shoot. Oh. How can I get through that many and not have any issues? Oh. Look. Can you see that? Look at that. Got all clumped up right there. Alright. Give me a second. And seam ripping buttonholes is like the absolute worst. Oh, it's a big clump on the back. You see it? I don't know if you can see it. Literally was doing so good. Literally all the ones on the skirt went fine. Would it be wrong of me to just go over this again? I do not know how to seam rip this. Ooh, it's so tight. Let me try another one. No. I wonder why it did that. Literally the last 4 buttonholes. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that one for a second. Just fully start over. Everything's smooth. Threads in there. Okay. It's doing the same thing. Why? Oh, I think it's because this wasn't down all the way. Okay. Probably should have tested again on my actual garment. Whatever. Okay. But I feel like it'll work on not my garment. Okay, let's try it again. Y'all, being so reckless right now. I am unhinged. Okay. That's down all the way. That's okay. Oh, snap. Did I restart it? Oh. Okay. Let's try this again. Oh, something's wrong. It's so annoying. Okay. I have no idea what could be wrong right now. Like, it literally worked perfectly on all of them on the skirt. Okay. Is the thread weird? Doesn't seem like it. It seems it's working fine. Okay, let's test it again. I don't know. It's just not moving anymore. Oh, and I broke my nail. That's cool. Okay. Okay, I need to troubleshoot this. Yep, so did I literally just sew through my finger? Like, are you kidding me right now? Like for real? Y'all, don't wait till the last minute on your projects. I literally just lowered my needle into my finger, trying to make sure that my feed dogs were coming up. Like, okay. She's bleeding. Got a little Neosporin, a little Band-Aid. She's fine, but my poor fingy. Like, I just have to put on the buttons. Everything else is done. It's done. Oh. 4 buttonholes. 4 buttonholes left. Now look, I understand that this should probably be the moment where I walk away, right? Or I just take a break. But I really want to get this done. I really want to participate and have this out for tomorrow. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. The last time I had a needle go through my finger was in college. And it was a similar situation. it was actually past the deadline for my tailoring class, and I needed to turn in my coat, and she gave us a little bit of an extension because I wasn't the only one way behind. And it was like late night, and I just stitched through my finger. You know, I was the coat was thick, and yeah, I haven't had this happen since. So that's really frustrating. But similar emotional situation. So my recommendation is give yourself plenty of time to finish your projects. Work on it when you know you have time. Do not wait till the last minute, because you might injure yourself, and that's not fun. From experience. Okay. Honestly, it's only 4:58, so that much time has not passed, but man, that just really threw off my energy. Okay. Can't believe that. All right, these two, can you even see that, are definitely not perfect, but it's not terrible. I'll try to seam rip what I can. Ouch, it's so irritating. So I didn't end up seam ripping the mistake buttonholes. I just kind of stitched right over it. And then as you can see, that means that right at the end here, there's a little bit extended from where the mistake was. So I'm going to try to seam rip that part out and then just let it be what it is. Here's the final product. You can still see the stitching holes from where I seam ripped. Maybe I'll be able to press those out. And then if you can see at the top, it's definitely wonky. But this is the worst one. So I'm okay with that. Okay, the other mistake looks pretty decent. And then the last two and all the rest look great. So I'm okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and trim them at my fray check or fray away, whatever it's called. And let that dry and then pop them open. What an adventure. So my tag is in place. My buttons are sewn on. I did go ahead and add a hook and eye to the waist because it was gapping a little bit. But she is all ready for the reveal.